Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. From time to time, we've been tempted to believe that society has become too complex to be managed by self-rule, that government by an elite group is superior to government for, by, and of the people. Well, if no one among us is capable of governing himself, then who among us has the capacity to govern someone else? All of us together, in and out of government, must bear the burden. The solutions we seek must be equitable, with no one group singled out to pay a higher price. We hear much of special interest groups. Well, our concern must be for a special interest group that has been too long neglected. It knows no sectional boundaries or ethnic and racial divisions, and it crosses political party lines. It is made up of men and women who raise our food, patrol our streets, man our mines and factories, teach our children, keep our homes, and heal us when we're sick. Professionals, industrialists, shopkeepers, clerks, cabbies, and truck drivers. They are, in short, we the people.
Fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing ground.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is The Morning Moment. We're on weekdays, 11:45 Eastern. Follow us on Spreaker.com and click on the like button. This is a very unusual piece. It's probably not going to be that long. It consists just of one piece. Now, I don't normally do this sort of clip, but the person who's making this comment is very well known. No, he's not a politician, and with that you may have guessed already. Here's another clue. It's a very famous talk show host, probably the most famous talk show host in the world. He's actually excluded from broadcasting in my home country, Canada. But we Canadians do have our ways. When someone says, you can't have this, it only makes us more determined to have it. More determined to have it. The person is, of course, Rush Limbaugh, also known as the curse of the left. Now, the reason I'm playing this will become obvious. It has, I'm sorry to say, taken some considerable time for Rush to get to this point, or at least certainly in public, that is. But nevertheless, you will hear from him in his own words, with the exception of using the words Agenda 2030, say everything that both myself and a number of others have been saying for some considerable time. What's most significant is that he has millions of listeners and followers, not just in the US but around the world. And with him saying these words, perhaps it will be considered mainstream now in a small but influential conservative media, and perhaps that can be built upon. I'll set up the piece. It starts with Rush explaining the reason why there was such a massive drop on the US stock market on Wednesday, August 14. I've been saying for some time they have been looking for ways of hurting President Trump, trying to find his Achilles heel. And they thought on August 14, when the stock market went down, they had found it. Yes, you're right. I believe the crash of the stocks on August 14 was a deliberate ploy to hurt Trump. Even if it hurt you, they were prepared to pay the price. Were you? And be under no illusion. They will try this again. So without further ado, I give you the master of talk radio, Rush Limbaugh, in part of his opening monologue, August 15, 2019. Here's the piece. The links will be on my site.
Now, so really, folks, what explains this? Well, let me just tell you one thing, and I've been saying this since the day Trump was inaugurated. Anytime, anywhere, the left went nuts. Even on some occasion when Republicans went nuts. This is what pushback looks like. And Trump is not just pushing back against the Washington establishment. Donald Trump is pushing back against a globalist elite whose express purpose is to eliminate the concept of national sovereignty. This is a much bigger organization, loosely fit, that Trump is pushing back against than just the Democrat Party. It's much bigger than just the American media. It's much bigger than just the Washington establishment. But this is what it looks like. And if anybody thought that all it was going to take was a presidential election to unseat the Chi-Coms from their global economic dominance, if it was going to be easy to realign the global supply chain, if anybody thought it was going to be easy to eliminate the Saudis in the Middle East as necessary providers and suppliers of oil, you have to think again. This is what making America great again looks like, because there are so many forces aligned against that concept. And it's not just people who are aligned against America. That's part of it, but it is this globalist anti-sovereignty movement that is occurring, centered in Europe, with a lot of players in the United States as part of it. So I'll tell you what I think yesterday was. Are you ready? I think yesterday was a dry run. There are plenty of financial people who have fully bought into this globalist business. I guess I should expand on that today. I've referred to this today numerous days in the past. But there's no question here that there is an attempt here to do away with the concept of nation states and replace it with some sort of global elite leadership. And for the global elite leadership to succeed and prosper, you have to get rid of nation states. You have to get rid of the idea of national sovereignty. And if you're going to do that, then you have to get rid of the biggest one. You have to somehow get rid of the United States. And to do that, do you know what you have to do? You have to get rid of democracy. You have to get rid of the concept that the American people or any people in a country have the right of self-determination. If you can do that, if you can eliminate democracy, and I know we're a representative republic, but I'm simply talking about the public having a say in how their affairs are governed. If you can get rid of that, then you are well on your way. And mindless, never-ending invasions of illegal immigrants at the border is all part of it. There's a massive effort. And by the way, I will explain this as the program unfolds today. This is the reason why Make America Great has so panicked these people. They really thought they were on the way to accomplishing this with Obama in the White House. And we'll go back and revisit some of Obama's quotes regarding this. Obama was all for this in a couple of speeches at the United Nations. Trump coming along, Make America Great Again, all of this talk about nationalism, white nationalism, all of this is made up bohunk to try to destroy Trump's effort at protecting, preserving, and maintaining the United States of America as a sovereign nation, which is really what this is about when you strip away all of the other distractions.
So there you had it. Rush explaining to those who didn't know, and there are quite a few of them out there, that this phenomenon isn't just an American thing. Well, we certainly know that in Canada with Herr Trudeau, but it's all over Europe and the UK. We know that. They are so embedded into our society that even if we have the will to out them, it will take decades to do so. And God knows how much damage they will do in the meantime. But we have to start somewhere. Now, not to be too depressing, I want to leave you with this thought. This attack on freedom and free speech in the West is symptomatic. Unless we are prepared to fight and fight it and expose it, we will beat it and we will beat it back, but just for one generation. We must train the next generation now to be able to identify it and root it out. Otherwise, we will only be delaying the demise of democracy and the collapse of nation states as we know it. You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab, and email. We are also on Spotify. Just go to the podcast section and type Canadian Politics with a twist, and you'll find us. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all our morning moments at Spreaker.com under A Radio. That's EHRADIO, A Radio. And please click on the like button. And you can now hear a weekend review of our podcasts on WHBJ DB, News Talk Radio. Join us and many others, and you can find all our podcasts and morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com. Click on the Morning Moments tab.